If you've been scrolling through endless listings, watching video after video, and still feel that knot in your stomach every time you think about picking a home backup power station, you're not alone. The fear of spending a lot of money on something that either never kicks in when the grid goes down or sits idle gathering dust is real. That's why today's deep dive is all about cutting through the hype and figuring out whether the ECOFLOW Delta Pro Ultra actually lives up to its promise of being a whole house solution, or if it's just another oversized gadget that looks impressive on paper. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about the kind of scenario where a unit like this actually makes sense. Imagine you live in a region where summer thunderstorms are a monthly event, or you've got a small off-grid cabin you love to escape to on the weekends. You're not just after a portable charger for a phone, you need something that can keep a refrigerator running, power a few lights, maybe keep the Wi-Fi router alive so you can still check the weather or stay in touch. For those situations, the Delta Pro Ultra's 6 kWh of leaf APO capacity and its ability to be expanded up to 90 kWh can feel like a safety net you can actually rely on. The fact that it can deliver up to 7,200 W of continuous AC power means you could run a medium-size air conditioner or a power tool without the unit constantly blinking red for overload. In real life, that translates to being able to keep your freezer humming while you're out in the storm, rather than watching the light flicker and the temperature rise. Now, who should walk away from this product? If you're a weekend camper who only needs to charge a phone, a headlamp, and maybe a small fridge, you'll probably find a 500 Wh portable power bank a lot cheaper and easier to lug around. The Delta Pro Ultra weighs over 200 pounds fully loaded and needs a dedicated SpaceThink garage shelf or a utility closet, so it's not a backpacking companion. On the flip side, if you're a homeowner who's already thinking about solar panels or who wants a plug-and-play UPS that can keep the whole house alive for a couple of days, this is the kind of investment that starts to make financial sense. The ability to charge it from the grid, a generator, or solar panels gives you flexibility, and the 2-hour full charge time when you plug into a proper AC source means you won't be stuck waiting all night for it to be ready. Let's get into the practical strengths. First, the charging versatility is a real game changer. You can top up the battery from a standard wall outlet, from a high-output solar array, or even from a conventional gasoline generator if you have one on hand. In tests performed by a few owners on forums, connecting a 400 W solar panel bank gets the unit to about 80% in roughly 4 hours of good sun. That's enough to keep essential circuits running through an evening and a night, especially if you've prioritized the right loads in the ECOFLOW app. Speaking of the app, it's surprisingly intuitive. You can label circuits, say, refrigerator or medical equipment, and the unit will automatically allocate power to those loads first during an outage. That level of control eliminates the guesswork of manually flipping breakers and wondering if you've left something critical unplugged. Another point that often gets missed in the spec sheets is the 0 milliseconds transfer time. In a traditional UPS, you might see a brief dip in power as the unit switches from grid to battery, which can cause sensitive electronics to hiccup. The Delta Pro Ultra essentially bridges that gap instantly, acting like a seamless backup for your whole house. For people who run home labs, servers, or even a small home theater setup, that instant handoff can be the difference between a smooth night and a reboot marathon. Now, the weaknesses. The biggest one is cost. Even the base model with a single 6 kWh battery is priced in the upper four-figure range, and each additional 6 kWh module adds several $100s more. If you're budgeting for a complete backup system, you have to factor in not just the battery packs but also the solar panels, mounting hardware, and possibly a professional installation if you want it wired directly to your main panel. That adds up quickly, and for many households, a combination of a smaller UPS for critical loads plus a generator for the rest can be cheaper. Second, the physical footprint is something to consider. The unit measures about the size of a compact refrigerator, and while it has built-in handles for moving, you'll still need a sturdy floor to place it on. Some reviewers have mentioned that the unit's weight shifts when you add more battery modules, which can make the top heavy if you stack them. It's not a deal breaker, but it does mean you need to plan the location carefully, ideally a place where ventilation is adequate and where you won't have to move it often. A third, more subtle, downside is